So if you're a parent or caregiver of a young student in Ontario, you've likely heard four little letters thrown around with a mix of anticipation and, let's be honest, maybe a tiny bit of dread. I'm talking about EQAO. Today, we are going to completely demystify the Grade 3 EQAO test. We're going to break down exactly what it is, what it tests, and most importantly, what it actually means for your child. Let's get right into it.
Okay, here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll decode the EQAO test, then break down the subjects. After that, we'll look at how testing actually works, understand the scores and impact, and wrap up with some top tips for students.
All right, jumping into Section 1, decoding the EQAO test and what this test is all about. Let's open the black box of standardized testing and see what's actually inside.
It's literally the very first question every single parent asks when this acronym pops up on the school calendar, right? What exactly is EQAO? Who's making it? And why on earth is an 8-year-old taking a standardized test? Well, EQAO stands for the Education Quality and Accountability Office. Basically, it's an Ontario agency, and their whole job is creating and running these assessments. Now, even though the specific test happens in Grade 3, it's actually a cumulative assessment. Think of it like a snapshot of their entire early educational journey. It covers everything they've been taught from Grade 1, straight through Grade 2, and into Grade 3. They also write assessments for older kids, like Grade 6, Grade 9 math, and the Grade 10 literacy test. But today, we are zeroing in entirely on Grade 3.
Moving on to Section 2, breaking down the subjects. Let's look at exactly what is expected of an 8 or 9-year-old in reading, writing, and math.
Now, what's really interesting here is how they look at the two different sides of literacy. On the reading side, kids might read a short story, a poem, or maybe an informational article. Then, they'll answer some multiple choice or short answer questions to show they can pull out the main ideas, grab the details, make inferences, and understand the vocabulary. It's all about taking information in. Then, on the flip side, we have writing skills. This is all about putting information out. They have to actually produce their own work, like a short paragraph or a personal response. The test is looking to see if they can organize their ideas clearly, and yes, proper spelling, punctuation, and grammar absolutely do count here.
Then we get to the math section. The scope here is wonderfully broad, but I promise it's perfectly tailored to what they've learned in the classroom. They're tested on core concepts, like number sense, your basic addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But it also covers fractions, measurement, geometry, patterns, and data management. And just like the reading section, they'll see a mix of multiple choice questions, short answers, and those classic word problems. Actually, let's look at a real word problem example straight from the source material, just to show you how age-appropriate this content really is. So the question asks, Sarah has 24 apples and shares them equally among 6 friends. How many apples does each friend get? It's a classic division problem, right? But it's wrapped up in a highly relatable, everyday scenario for a kid. And the answer, of course, is 4. 24 divided by 6 means each friend gets 4 apples. Simple, right? This is exactly the kind of practical, logical thinking the test is trying to measure.
Let's try another one. Here's a second math example. Tom has 3 bags with 5 marbles in each bag. How many marbles does Tom have altogether? Now, this is a fantastic question because it forces the student to visualize groups of items and figure out the relationship between them.
The answer here is 15. And what this brilliantly illustrates is a key part of the EQAO philosophy. There isn't just one right way to solve a problem. A student could totally use addition here, just adding 5 plus 5 plus 5 to get 15. Or they might use multiplication and just multiply 3 by 5. Either path gets them to the right answer, and more importantly, shows off their mathematical reasoning.
Let's move to Section 3, how testing actually works and the administration process. Let's see how all of this builds into the actual testing day.
Often the biggest source of anxiety isn't even the material itself, it's the logistics. It's that fear of the unknown. Like, how is an 8-year-old supposed to sit through a massive, grueling exam? Well, the good news is they don't have to. The whole process is actually incredibly modernized and supportive. First off, today, most Ontario students complete the test online using computers or tablets, which, let's be honest, they're already super comfortable with. Second, it's not a single marathon session. The assessment is spread out over several classroom periods to keep it totally manageable for those young attention spans. And third, while teachers absolutely cannot feed them the answers, they are still very much in the room. They can read instructions out loud, clarify directions, and support any specific accommodations a student might need. It's meant to feel like a normal, familiar classroom environment, not some sterile, scary exam hall. Okay, on to Section 4, understanding scores and impact.
Basically, what do all these numbers actually mean for your child's educational future?
So, the results are grouped into 4 really clear achievement levels. Level 1 just means the student is scoring below the provincial standard. Level 2 means they are approaching that standard. Level 3 means they have officially met the provincial standard. And Level 4 means they are actually performing above the standard. It's a super straightforward 4-point scale.
And level 3? That is the magic number here. That is the provincial standard, and it's the benchmark most schools are actively aiming for their students to hit or exceed. Scoring a 3 basically just tells you that your kid has a really solid grasp of the core concepts they've been taught since grade 1. Now, here is the crucial point, and honestly, a massive sigh of relief for parents. You have to separate report cards from school progress. The EQAO test does not usually affect your child's report card grades directly. I repeat, this test is not going to ruin their academic record. The real value of this test is in tracking school progress. It helps figure out how schools and whole school boards are doing on a broader scale. It's a system-level checkup that just happens to give you some individual insights into your child's learning.
Finally, let's wrap up with Section 5, top tips for students, and some actionable advice you can pass directly along to your child.
Here are 5 rapid-fire, highly effective tips for test day. Number 1, read the questions carefully. It sounds super obvious, but rushing is literally the enemy here. Number 2, show your work in math. Like we saw with the marble question, the process matters. Number 3, use complete sentences in the writing section. Grammar and spelling definitely count. Number 4, check your answers before submitting. Just a quick review catches so many silly mistakes. And finally, number 5, stay calm and take your time. Remind them that this is spread out over multiple days, so there is absolutely no need to panic or rush.
And the best part is, you don't even have to wait for test day to start preparing. The official EQAO website has actual sample assessments up right now. So, my final question to you is, how will you use these sample assessments at home tonight to turn your child's test anxiety into quiet confidence? Take 10 minutes, sit down with them, explore a few examples, and prove to them that they already have exactly what it takes to succeed. Thanks so much for tuning in to this explainer, and we will see you next time.